Man, you know, I've seen a lot of big name YouTubers lately have had some fairly serious accidents on their bikes. It's kind of alarming, you know. You accept a certain level of risk while you're riding. You know, that's why you wear all the gear if you're smart. And thankfully, they were all wearing very good gear. The circumstances have all been different. It's something that it always kind of is on the back of your mind. I also have a friend who was in a fairly serious accident not long ago, earlier this year, and he's back riding again and back on the roster for Tim Fest coming up. Yeah, his injuries were pretty severe too, and you know, it's amazing how some people get lucky and they can walk away. Some other people get fucked up really bad, and they recover more quickly than expected, and then other people have, you know, fairly still serious accidents, but seemingly not as serious, and just the luck of the draw with how things land, how they fall. And it's nothing against any of their gear. It's just like how they ended up falling, and they end up with even super serious, like basically season-ending injuries, and it sucks. But it is why we all know it's possible. We all take precautions, but there's only so much you can do, and it's pretty sobering, you know. I do worry about that stuff as I am about to begin my trip, and it's really been kind of on my mind. The other day I was going to ride to work, and I just had this gut feeling, like it wasn't like a no, don't ride. And when I got to work, I regretted that I didn't ride. But before I left, I just had this, I don't know, like a tickle, you know, not even a pinch, just like a tickle. And I decided to drive in that day, and nothing happened. But you know, maybe something would have happened if I was on the bike. I listened to my gut that day, and you know, nothing happened. I saw a meme the other day, and I sent it to a few folks on Instagram, and it was like 90% of the things I worry about never happen. Worrying works. That's kind of funny, but it's from somebody who overthinks and worries a lot. It's true. I mean, 90% of probably more than 90% of the things I worry about never happen. So, is it because I worry about them? Maybe. Do the other 10% happen because I worry about them? Also, maybe. You know, they say you can manifest things that happen to you, which I believe to some extent. I don't necessarily think you're pulling it out of the ether, but you can create your own self-fulfilling prophecy. What is odd though is when Pete and I were out camping, we were reminiscing about some of our rides and some of our friends, and one of our friends, Cody, over at Two Wheels in a Tent, neither one of us had heard from in a while. Pete has been way closer to him than I have, but hadn't heard from him in a while either, and we were just like kind of reminiscing and, you know, wondering, hey, I wonder how he's doing, and I hope he's doing all right. You know, I know he'd been having a rough go of it with work and stuff, and then I think while we were talking about him, or shortly after, and we didn't have the greatest cell service, but Pete ended up getting a text from him that night, which was just like, holy shit, out of the blue, look who it is. And you know, long story short, he seemed to be in a good spot, you know, out on an adventure like he does. But it was just, that's the kind of thing, like you just wonder, like, did we make that happen just by thinking about him? That's not something that's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? That's just something, you know, I didn't think, well, I can do this thing, so I'm going to do it, and then you do it and you're successful. That, in that way, you've manifested it for yourself. But in this case, it's like, you know, neither one of us had any communication with him, and then suddenly he's reaching out when we were just, you know, kind of fondly remembering some times with him. So yeah, anyway, how do you feel about it? Do you think you can manifest stuff like that? Do you believe in that kind of thing? You know, it's not like about asking for, you know, manifesting money or fame or wealth or anything like that. It's more like that kind of happenstance thing like that, where you can just almost will something into happening, however minor it might be. I thought it was pretty cool. Some things just kind of make a believer out of you, even though you're a skeptic at heart, you know what I mean? So, well, I'm gonna cut it off here in a moment and go through this kind of curvy bit. You're familiar with my ride by now. You guys can probably find my freaking house. But I'll leave you with that little nugget of and I hope you all are riding safe out there, or doing whatever it is you do. I hope you're all safe, and I will catch you guys on the flippity flip.